hit me right in the face when it came off. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the YouTube channel. Welcome back to another video. And we got the truck parked back into the shop because we're working on something different. Last video you saw, we were diving deep into the engine bay. We're making that all pretty. But we're gonna flip the script and start making the exterior of the truck looking better. And the first thing you wanna do with that is starting with what kind of lights you have on the truck. So this is a 2017 Ram 2500. So it's gonna come factory with halogens. It's gonna come factory with some boring lights. And we're really gonna focus on the mirror lights. So to help us with that today, we're going with Boost Auto lighting, some mirror lights. They're 2.0 kits, so we'll get deeper into that. But wanted to speak on Boost Auto and how they came on to the build right here. They ran across the channel. They liked what they saw, and then here we are. They sent out some lights to install. We have everything factory right now, so it's gonna be a quick and easy install. But using high quality parts from Boost Auto, scroll through their website. They tackle the GM side, the Ford side, the Dodge side, and they do a really well job of doing that. And they go anywhere from your cab lights to your mirror lights to actually new mirrors, really high quality products over there. I'll drop a link in the description below. They've also stepped into some of the accessories, like they do a wireless phone charger for vehicles that don't have it. And then their newest addition is some of the automatic running boards. Guys, I'm sitting behind the computer screen, but you should be able to follow along here on Boost Auto's website. You can kind of scroll through. They even do paint match parts now for all the different platforms, but you have mirrors, running boards, exterior lights, key fobs, wireless charging. So they have everything in terms of lighting, electrical, you name it. But just to go through here for the lights that we just got done installing, exterior lighting, and then you just kind of type in the year, make, and model of your truck. So we obviously have a 2017 Ram, Dodge really on their website, 25/3500, and then this is all your options. So here's the kit that we installed, but just wanted to give y'all a quick tour of the website. And then while we're on the homepage, we'll go ahead and take a peek at the running boards. These are really nice. Really want to install these as well. But let's go ahead and get back to the video, and I'll catch up with you afterwards. Teamed up with them. Great company to work for. They're supporting the channel. They like what they see. So I'm going to continue to use them throughout the rest of the lighting throughout the truck. And then some bigger items as well that's coming on down the line. So you want to stay tuned for the next video after this. But let's go ahead and dive into the parts that we have. See what we got. All right, so we got the parts table. I'll go over the part numbers so you know exactly what you're getting for this application. They have some various options based on if you want a full signal light, or if you want switchback, or if you just want a dim signal light. Because on your 4th gen factory light setup on 13 to 18 models, or really 10 to 18 models, your mirror light does not light up as a running light. It only acts as a signal light. So we're gonna take care of that today. First thing I want to go over is right here is the new mirror lights themselves. We'll compare them to factory real quick, fire the truck up and let you look. But these are a clear option. So we got clear and we got amber. I want to keep it amber because I really like the amber running lights from factory. These are the units themselves, super clear, high quality, super easy to plug into. So that would be a pretty quick install. And then the brains of the operation to get this to work correctly is all the wiring that you see right here. And then this is the part number for the kit right here, 2942. And this is a dual function for GM and Dodge. So there is going to be a ground wire you don't have to use, but we'll cover that. And then this is the relay harness. This is really the brains talking to the light itself to make sure it functions as a running light and a turkey signal light. So what's happened to that? We got wire to run because you got to do passenger and driver side. We have our adapters that go into the factory wiring harness. We do have some T-taps right here. May go ahead and just butt connect and splice it together and heat shrink it, but we'll see how these act. And then this is where the ground wire taps into the factory wiring harness. But overall, going to be a fun install. I've been looking forward to doing this for a while now, but really wanted to take care of the engine side, the performance side. What better way to start than getting a factory light that doesn't work as a signal light without too much work. So that's what we're going to be tackling today. So stay tuned for this one, and let's go ahead and start installing these two lights, and we'll take a look at the truck. Here is our clear factory light. Right now, it looks good, but it is just, straight from Mopar. So this will be the first thing that we tackle. We want to take this off, and then we'll have to go ahead and pull the the mirror lens out. I'll go ahead and show you with the running lights on, it is not functioning. So we'll go ahead. Headlights are on. We'll close this. And right now, it's not on. It'll come on if I hit the blinker. But where's the fun in that? And it only has two little LED bulbs right here, where the difference in the light that I have, or the light from Boost Auto, is you get a full entire LED strip. So we're gonna go ahead and compare the difference, plug this straight in. It should be a super simple install, and then we'll get into the wiring of it. But wanted to just cover what the factory setup is versus what we're going to. On tripod, I'll talk behind the mirror on my tippy toes, but just so y'all can see and everything, a really clean, simple install. We're gonna go ahead and push our big mirror in and then pull our little mirror out, so we got a little bit of room to grab onto. And then you just wanna be real gentle with it, and it'll pop out of there like that. Just like that. So here's the clips right here. Once you get that out, then there's a screw in here. I'll move it closer. Take that out, and this will pop out, and then we'll plug the new one in, and that's really about it. All right, so if you can see in there, that is a T15 Torx, if it will focus, and then that is what holds the light in, and then just unclip it, pull it out, and you're done. When it's in there, it's kind of easier to do in the flipped up position. Just kind of work your screwdriver back there and just pry, and then you're good to go. But now you can see my finger through here. Here is the clear difference between the two. Like I mentioned before, you got a full strip of LED light right there, and these just have two LED diodes. This one definitely looks like something straight from the factory. This is definitely an upgrade. Boost Auto did a great job designing this for functionality, reliability, and performance. So we're gonna go ahead and plug it in first, make sure it works, and then we'll push it back in there and put our screw back, and then we are done with the installation. Same thing for the other side. I'll do a time lapse on that. All right, so now we're up close. We're gonna go ahead and just plug this in outside of the mirror. It'll tuck back in when we go to put it in there. So it's as secure and as plugged in as it can get. So we're gonna just leave it hanging there. I'm gonna open the door. All right, here is what we got. That is bright. I know I'm blocking the light, but hopefully you can kind of see that orange glow in my hand. It is very, very bright, very, very clear. You can probably see it in my face right now, blinking at me. But that's it. So easiest part of the install. We'll do this on the other side, but we'll get this pushed back in here at the same time it's on. Just like that, it'll clip in. It's a nice firm click, and then kind of hangs down just a bit, but that screw going back in will secure everything back down. All right, so one thing I did notice is that these holes in the mirror lights are not threaded. So you have a metal screw with a plastic hole, then the threads will actually thread themselves in. So a little bit kind of tough to start, but once you get started, then it's no big deal. So put our ratchet in the right gear. All right, you don't want too much, just enough. That is secure, that is in there. And we will do the exact same thing on the other side. It only goes in there one way, and that's in. So easy peasy. We got the hazards on. You can see, here's this side blinking. Mom's on the other side. But there's that one. And the tow mirror's flipped up. I hate that look. Let's flip it down. All right, there she is. And here is the other one right here. We'll flip this one down. All right, so that was the first part of the video, the first install of the video. Now to a little bit more intricate install. It's going to require taking the door panel off. There's going to be some screws here, 1, 2, and then there's going to be a little dust shield you got to pull off. We'll go into that in more detail, but the rest of the work's going to be happening on the door panel, the wiring in the door jamb, and then up underneath the dash. So let's go over here to our parts. We no longer need this, but if you want one more look to get you some lights off of boostauto.com, then here it is. They also have an Instagram, they have Facebook, they have a YouTube channel that does very good install and videos as well from the people that make the lights. So if I don't cover it good enough, then you can always go there to check out their step-by-step process as well. But hopping into one that requires a little more steps than what we just did. Here's our dual functioning wiring kit from Boost Auto. As I said, relay. This is what spans over the dash from the passenger side, from the driver's side. This is our adapters. Here's our T-taps. And then really the only thing you need is your basic electrical tools. You got crimpers, you got wire strippers if we need them. They already come pre-stripped, but I got them out just in case. And that is it. So there's really nothing to it but to do it, to already dive in and start ripping off the door panel so we can see what's underneath there. And then we'll go ahead and show you what plugs that you need to pull out, what wire that you need to cut, splice, and tap into, and set you up on time lapse. So let's get to work. So we got the door panel pulled off, wasn't too bad. Around here are these little clips. It has a star head on it, but really you need to get something behind it and kind of push out while you're threading it out, because it's not full threads. It's just something to push the clip and expand it out to hold it. And then you just have your plug, the window switches, the lock switches and everything. On limited, you don't pry up underneath the chrome piece. You pry up actually from the switch itself, the whole entire unit. You have another door pocket light that's for a limited model, and then that's really about it. In the lock position, it's easier to pull off all the way. And then the next thing you got to do is you go in here and you look at your wire coming from, kind of sticky, you look at your wire coming from your mirror, trace it down here, and you start unplugging these. So you got a white one and you got a black one. It's kind of hot in here. And these are the two that we're going to be playing with the rest of the install. So right here is a good stopping point. Then we'll go grab the harness and we'll start looking at how we splice things together and start activating the dual functioning harness. So what we're looking at is we want the black connector. Coming close. And right here, go ahead and kind of work your way through. But you want the wire that is on the top row of wires, second from the right with the latch up. So on a 2017, or specifically my truck, I don't think it's VIN dependent, but that is that one. So go ahead, take a look at it. And it's the same on both sides. So right here, you can see really well. And the cool part about this is we cut it right here in the middle. I'm gonna cut this back so we have a little bit more to work with. That way we're not so close to the connector and we mess up. We have a little more lead to play with. Double check, make sure it's the right one. And we're gonna cut it right about, we're gonna cut it right about there. All right, go ahead, get your wire strippers. I like mine, they're Klein. And strip it back about yay far. There we go. You wanna get your relay, here it is. All right, and then this right here is your module or relay. They call it module. And you want to make sure that the single wire side is the side that's going back into the wiring harness itself. So we're gonna go in here. Make sure we get a good crimp. Stick it in there. Make sure it seats all the way. Keep pressure on it, and then you want to crimp down on it. Just like that. And then just check we got a good connection. And then now we're gonna go ahead and grab the adapter piece, which this is pretty easy because it only has one connection that fits into only this module. So right here, you'll hear it snap into place. Nice tight connection. There we go. Here is what it looks like, and we are getting there. Now the rest of what we're gonna do all entertains back to where we cut. Our blue from our 3-wire harness is gonna go back into our original wire that we cut. And it's just gonna slide in there like so. And then you're gonna do the same thing. You're gonna crimp it, we'll heat shrink it. Here's our two harnesses that do all the wire running into a tap for the clearance lights, but you're going to take the one that doesn't have as much wire. You can tell a difference once you pull them out of the box. Pull them apart, take your short side, bring it over here. Same thing. You're going to get really good at butt connecting. Pull a little end off. This is a little bit thicker wire. It's carrying all the voltage. And you just go in here again. And then here is what we're left with. What you want to do is you want to go back to your ground wire, which is in pin 10. On this one, it's a solid black wire, but really colored wire doesn't really apply. You just want to make sure it is in the upper rightmost corner of the harness. And then we're just going to go ahead and T-tap this. We want to slide the wire down there and then get it in that groove right here. And then squeeze it down until you hear it click like that. Once you get that tapped, then you go ahead and stick this connector in there. You feel it seat all the way down like that. And that is it. This right here is for another application, probably a Duramax. And so now you get back to the long harness with all the wiring. Go ahead and put that back on like that. And then this is what you're going to be running through the door panel, or really the door jamb, all the way back through here. So we got to start working on pulling this liner out, and then pulling, there's a clip with 2 torque screws right here. And then we're going to have to pull this clip out as well. And then we'll have to pull our door jamb off. So a little more to the install after you get done with this, but this is basically the wiring process of what you've been doing. Here is where we're at, trying to get the camera in there. There's your 2 torque screws that you need to take out. Once you take that off, there'll be a white little connector. Pull that off the metal bracket, cut this tape back, and then that is step 1. And then we'll work on getting this plug out of there. Once you get it broken apart like that, then this is what you feed your wire through. And then you got to go through here. Once you get this out, you can flip it over and go ahead and yank out the 2 plugs. There's one. And then finally, there is 2. Now, here we go. I'm going to go ahead and push this grommet off here. This will allow us to push the wire all the way through. Like this. That way we can see what we're doing. And just go ahead and go through a hole like that. Once you put it all the way through, go ahead, push it through here. There is the hole that you want to string it through, the actual harness connector. Right there. Then this will feed into here. All right, we're gonna have to pull off this, start back here. Now we're here. I got a piece of wire so I can see where I'm hitting at. So you had this little flap right here. Pull that out, and that hole up there where my fingers are going into, that right there is access to this hole right here. So that's where we're gonna feed it through, and then we're gonna come through here, back up over the pedal assembly, and then we're gonna run it through the firewall. So we got it through. I can pull on this side and it'll work itself back and forth. Just make sure you go through this, because this whole entire harness has to go back through there, or you're taking this all apart and doing it again. You can see everything's back together. Push these back in, just like that. And then the door should shut. We're gonna make sure it shuts, nothing is pinching. Just like that. Lock the, truck's locked. There we go. Now it's unlocked. All right, nothing's popping out, nothing's kinking, so that looks good. Now we just run this through the firewall, and we will splice this together, but for now, just to see if it works, we'll get this one side working. All it is just a T-tap and a fuse 79 underneath the hood, which is not bad. Hardest part's gonna be finding that same grommet we used to run EGT wire and the CTS wiring through. So there's that orange wire that is running through the door jamb, and ran it back the main wiring harness through the firewall, pushed it through with a coat hanger, and then grabbed it from the other side. So it wasn't too bad, just have to work its way through there. You can see it's not in the way of anything. It's not gonna get in the way of the parking brake. And all of that is running through the firewall. We got the hood popped. And you can see down here, here it is, ran all the way through. There's the grommet and the wiring harness back down there. And then here is the fuse tap. The kit that was sent to me did not have one, so I went and got one. This is the easy way of doing it. Instead of trying to find a wire inside the wiring harness that is a running light wire, instead you can just tap into a fuse, much cleaner, just running it through the engine bay like this. So this one right here, it is fuse number 79. It's right here. It is your clearance lights, and then on the chart here, you can find it right here. It just says fuse 79 clearance LT. So for light, we'll go ahead, plug this one in its place, push down firm. And instead of crimping this together, we have to do the passenger side. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna take the strip side of the wire, ran up here, touch it metal to metal inside the butt connector, show you what they look like. They'll come on with the clearance lamps, and that is kind of the install. So you can see we got the running lights on, cab lights are on, and to test, we're just gonna pull this out, push it in there, and booyah, we got power. And that is exactly what they need to do. So take it off, put it on, take it off, put it on. Now, these also function as turn signal lights. So we're gonna hop in there, we're gonna turn the hazards on, and then touch it, and you'll see how the blinker works in the functioning of the dual harness. Kind of got it fit in there just enough so it's keeping constant contact, so I don't have to hold it. So here it is. With the 2.0, it is a blinker, and then it'll go back to a bright light, where the 1.0 is a little bit different, where it'll go back to a dim. So just to put that in action, here it is. So there it is as a blinker, on and off, on and off. And then the same brightness that is blinking is the same brightness it's gonna be a running light. And that is pretty sick. So that is the two parts installed on the driver's side. Time lapse the passenger side, but clean install. A little bit longer than I thought it was going to take, and a little bit more involved, but that's okay. I was here to see it through. That's what you get when you have quality parts that you want to upgrade your lighting on your truck. So in general, everything went very smooth. Awesome product. So let's go ahead, knock out the other side, and then tonight or maybe tomorrow night we'll get some good shots of it in the dark and let y'all look at it that way, and then we'll close out the video, go from there. guys, so we got the passenger side all taken apart, same steps as the other side. It's a little bit different up under the dash where you got to find the pass through. So here is a cutout in basically the side, the cab of the truck. You're gonna go up underneath this. You're gonna have to remove this little carpet board right here. So it's just little push pins. I did the first two. I can feel the harness in here with my fingers. So I'm moving that, if you can hear, which is in turn moved them right there. So should just be a straight shot. That ended up being a little bit easier than I thought. I was able to get my fingers far enough inside here where I was able to grab it, so no coat hanger needed. The rest of this wire is gonna run over there. But before we do that, we gotta put all this back together. We gotta plug this back in. We gotta make sure that you run it through this seal. Then we gotta put all this jingled up mess, zip tie it back, make sure it looks good. And then we are done over here. Put the door panel back on. But before we do all that, we wanna make sure it works. And the only way to do that is to get this wire ran. And the next thing we want to do is go ahead and pop off this little interior trim piece that is up next to the center console. Like that. Now it's exposed all the way across. I'm gonna run this on top to hide it, and then it's gonna shoot out right there. We got the other side pulled off on the driver's side, and then now you can see all the way through the truck. Coat hanger or whatever you're using, push it all the way through, and we are good. Coming to the driver's side of the truck, you can see in there a little orange wire going all the way across. You can see the passenger side. And then where I ran it was back behind this bracket piece, then up and over the air vent, up and over the steering column right here, and then just back down because we got some extra wire. And then what I want to do is go ahead, pull this back out, the extra that you have from the driver's side. I'm gonna go ahead and tape the end of this to that and use this as a little tag line to pull it through the rubber grommet. From there, we'll just cut them at the same length and twist them together, splice them together, put a butt connector on it, and then use what's left over to run it all the way to the fuse box and tap into the fuse tap, and we are done. Here you can see both wires are ran through. There's our grommet down there that we ended up pushing through. These two have just about the right amount of slack running through the cab. We got a little bit left so we can have some room to play with, but what we're gonna do is we're just gonna even them up, and we're gonna cut them at the same length right here, and then we're gonna use the excess, and that's what's gonna run to our fuse tap under here. We got this butt connected. Here are the two wires coming from the cab. Here is our butt connector, and then here is our one wire that will be feeding our fuse tap. So here's how long we have it. Obviously we got more than we need, but we're gonna go ahead and run this, hide this, heat shrink this because it's underneath the hood. It's in the engine bay. All right, so we're looking at the fuse box. Ended up running under that wire or that harness back behind the battery box bracket. And then if you look right here, there's a little hole in the hinge, and you can just come up through there. That way you're not pinching the wire when you close the fuse box. Pretty good little design. And then you just figure out how much wire you want to cut off, and then go ahead and butt connect it. And then from here is how you remove it. I did go ahead and notch that out right there where it's coming through. It did contact the wire, so I didn't want to pinch it any, but this is butt connected, all nice like under there. We can close that now, no issue. Can barely see the wire out of the way. In here as well. And then in here in the truck, we'll go ahead and turn the running lights on. Here we go. We got it on this side. And let's go over to the passenger side. And we got them working on this side. And we got our cab lights up there. When it's dark, we'll turn everything on, get some footage of that outside. All right, guys, so we got the truck pulled out. Here's what she looks like. Super clean. You can see the brightness of the mirror light from Boost Auto versus the cab lights. Here it is up close. Got a nice little orange glow. Matches the rest of the truck. You got orange right here on your headlight, cab light, and then coming over to this side, matches the same as well. This is right around sunset, so a little bit of light left. But here she is in all her glory. Here's what she'll look like coming at you. You got 5 cab lights, 2 mirror lights, and then 2 headlights. That's gonna close out this video. Big thanks to Boost Auto for helping put this one out. Great part install, great part to install. Hopefully this kind of gives you an idea of the instructions, how to process of installing this, and then just be sure to go check out Boost Auto online. You can grab these from their website, no big deal, and then go ahead and install them yourself. They make it across all platforms. But that'll be it for this video. Appreciate you watching. Be sure to comment, subscribe, and I'll catch up with you in the next one. Boss out.